Thank you all for coming. I'm John Allison from Veteran Services. On behalf of Commissioner Santiago, I want to thank you all for coming. Commissioner Santiago wanted to be here today, but he's in Virginia representing Boston at the christening of the new aircraft carrier. Thank you all for coming to celebrate the legacy of Martin McDonough, who was a Navy veteran who was killed in action in 1942 when the USS Juneau went down. It's great, even after 77 years, to see so many people here to remember the legacy of Martin McDonough and so many others like him. So thank you all for coming. With that, I'll bring up Mayor Walsh, who's going to offer some brief remarks.
Thanks, John. Thank you, John. And let me start by thanking the Commander McDonough for Susan for having us here, and this is a beautiful Christmas tree. So and we have Christmas trees in Boston, so that's what they are, and holiday trees and Hanukkah and everything, whatever else. But no, I want to thank all the members of the Post as well that are here today. To all the veterans, thank you for your service to our country. You are the reason why myself and the other elected officials can be elected, is that you fought for this country and put your life on the line. To any Gold Star families here today, we want to say we pray for you every day and thank you for your sacrifice and service to our country as well. All of you. The elected officials that are here today, I want to thank City Councilor Ed Flynn, who's a veteran himself, State Representative David Beal, Chief Marty Martinez from Health and Human Services that's here with us. I want to thank John Allison from South Boston, who does an amazing job here. To all the members of the Southie community that are here, both past and present. I know a few people are here. You're from Southie, you moved out, and you want to come back in now, and you can't afford it. So we'd like to have you in, but I want to thank you. More housing. Yeah, we're building more housing. And today we're all joined together to honor a true Boston hero, Martin McDonough. We pay respects to a historic day. This is the 78th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, attack on Pearl Harbor. And as Franklin Delano wrote this year, and as Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, it was a day that would live in infamy. It capitulated America into World War II. And I had a chance this summer to go to Pearl Harbor. And it was absolutely amazing being there. It was my first time there, and hearing the stories of that don't make the newspaper, that don't make the TV, of the sacrifice of the non-military folks on the island, in the base that saved so many people's lives, the sailors that did some incredible heroic feats to make sure the channel stayed clear, to make sure that they'd be able to get the ships out into the channel. In the days that followed there, the men and women, young people all over this country that joined the service because of that attack in Pearl Harbor. It reminds me of 2001 on 9/11. Right after 9/11, a lot of kids, and I know we're talking about World War II today, but a lot of kids from Southie and Dorchester and the city of Boston joined the service because they wanted to do something. And they followed in the footsteps of the folks from World War II. Martin and millions of Americans across the country, he certainly answered the call to serve, ready and willing to defend the rights and liberties of not just his hometown of South Boston, but of the entire United States of America. He enlisted in the Navy a little over a month after Pearl Harbor. He left his hometown here in Southie, like many before him, and traveled to a far-off land in the Pacific. As John Allison pointed out, he served in several battles, including the historic naval battle of Guadalcanal. It marked a turning point of World War II. But the victory came at a steep price. Many lives were lost, including Martin's. Martin's ship was sunk by a torpedo, and he was awarded the Purple Heart for his service and sacrifice. And he's certainly going to be remembered as many other brave men and women we lost that night in the days that followed. And that's why, to all of you today that keep his memory alive in this post, in this community, I want to thank you for that. You know, as we look around this room, I see a lot of dedicated people that are in this post a lot and support this post. And there are thousands and thousands and thousands of other young people that are in their bed this morning. And they should be here on Broadway. And they should be understanding who Martin McDonough was and what he stood for and what he did. And we have to continue to pass that message along. And today, obviously, we're rededicating Martin's Square out front. He joined 1,700 other Hero Squares across the city of Boston. In these squares, the Commissioner of Veteran Services, we started to say, do something different, and we wanted to make sure that as a kid, I'd walk by the corner of my street, and on the way to school, I'd see many hero squares, and at the top, during Veterans Day and Memorial Day, there'd be new flowers on top, and then that was it. And the name became part of the street sign became part of a pole, and all of a sudden that kind of became invisible to a lot of us. And what we're doing now in the city of Boston, our Veteran Service Department is rededicating our hero squares. And there's a reason for us rededicating our hero squares. We're installing biographical plaques to give more information on the hero's life. So when somebody walks by and sees their name on the top of the plaque, they're going to be able to read a little bit about who that person was and what that sacrifice of that person or that family was to our city. They're also going to have an opportunity to take their iPhone and shoot on there. There's a bar graph on there and get more information on the entire information on not just Martin McDonough Hero Square in front of the building here, but also all the hero squares around the city of Boston. And we can really read and see who the heroes are in the city of Boston and what the sacrifice they made for us. Our most recent hero squares are young people that fought and lost their life in Afghanistan and Iraq. And we're making sure that we don't forget who our veterans are and the people that fought for us. So I want us to just take a moment to reflect upon, when you go outside, reflect upon our busy lives, and everyone's busy lives, but the history of service in the neighborhoods. On a side note, before I get back to Martin, my family's from Ireland, from Connemara. My father's from Connemara, and my mother's from Responk. And I remember being in my cousin's house in Ireland, and I saw a picture of a soldier who fought in World War I. And as I got older, I realized that soldier would have been my great uncle. And I learned that he died in France. And I didn't have a lot of history on him, who he was, but the story's being passed down from generation. And during the 100th commemoration of the ending of World War I had some folks in my office that were talking about the celebration for us to remember in the city of Boston. Let's not forget World War I. And I asked them, I gave them the name of my uncle, my great uncle, and I said, if you get me some information on this, I'd love to see it. So they sent me back the information. They sent me back the card when he signed up for the U.S. Army. He lived at 318 D Street in South Boston. And because he came out from Ireland and he joined the service here and he fought for this country. And then when he got killed in action, his brother got a letter from the United States Army, and I was able to get a copy of that letter. And I think about the service and sacrifice of so many people that done for our country. And if the veterans of World War I weren't there, and the veterans of World War II weren't there, and the veterans of Korea weren't there, as I said to start this conversation this morning, we'd be in a very different place. The freedoms that I have to be able to be mayor of the city of Boston, the freedoms that all of us have to serve in our country, it's because of our veterans. And we can never forget our veterans. Regardless, we can't just remember them on Veterans Day and Memorial Day for the sacrifice. We need to remember them every single day. And that's what we try to do in the city of Boston through our veteran services. That's what Councilor Flynn does as the chair of the Veterans Committee in the City Council. That's what David Beal does at the State House, working to make sure that we have continue to have the best veterans benefits for returning veterans in the country right here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So I want to thank them. It's important for all of us to make sure that the service and sacrifices that our veterans have made is never forgotten. I want to thank the USS Constitution for flying a flag in Martin's memory on November 13th, the day the ship went down. As we all know, we can never repay our heroes for their sacrifice or their families for their sacrifice, but we can keep their memories alive and inspire the next generation of patriots. So again, I just want to make a special thank you to the McDonough family. I want to thank the McDonough Post. I want to thank the members of the McDonough Post. I want to thank you for keeping this post going strong, because we need you to continue to do that. I want to thank everyone for being here today, and I want everyone to have a healthy and safe and happy Christmas holiday season as we move into the next few weeks here. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have the honor to bring up the next speaker. He is no stranger to South Boston. He's been serving. He's just finishing out his first full term on the Boston City Council. And the first request that he had to the president of the council when she became the president was that he chairs the Veterans Committee in the city of Boston. And he's been a partner with us long before he was a city councilor, but in the last 2 years, a partner with us here in the city, making sure that we never forget our veterans. City Councilor Ed Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and one of the reasons I wanted to become Chair of Veterans Services is because of the excellent work Mayor Walsh and his team do on veterans programs and services. It's probably the best city in terms of veteran benefits for all veterans and military families across the country. So I want to say thank you to Mayor Walsh and his team, Commissioner Santiago as well, John Ellison, for doing outstanding work and making sure our veterans are treated with the respect and dignity that they earned. Again, want to say thank you to Commander Susan McDonough, the commander of the post, who's doing an outstanding job. We're just so proud of the McDonough Post for everything they've done for the community of South Boston, for our military families, always there making sure that the benefits that they've earned, that they're able to get. So I want to say thank you to the Post. I want to say thank you to the McDonough family that is here today. We know even after so many years that the pain is still there when you do lose a loved one in the service to our country. So we are honored that you're here with us today. My good friend is Mrs. Tobias as well, who's a cousin of Martin McDonough, and some of the McDonough boys are here as well. We want to welcome you and say thank you for your incredible sacrifice to our country. And just finally, my colleague Michael Flaherty just lost a cousin. He wanted to be here with you today, so he extends his best wishes. I also want to recognize my good friend Joe Cook, who does tremendous work in our city in making sure that our returning veterans, including a lot of veterans that come back with PTSD, get the services that they need. So, Joe, we're proud of you, and we're sorry for your terrible loss, Joe, and we love you, and we love your commitment to our veterans. Again, just want to say thank you to the South Boston High School ROTC program that's here. They're excellent. I want to say thank you to the Fitzgerald Post members that are here as well. And I'm also proud to serve with another great state legislator, David Beal. Thank you very much. David Beal.
Hi, everybody. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you today. As we enter this holiday season, it's always a great opportunity to look back, remember, and be thankful. And looking around the room, I think we have a lot to be thankful for and to remember. You know, we have a great tradition here in South Boston of military service and remembering our veterans, and we do that very well here. So I want to thank Commander McDonough and the members of the Post for the outstanding work that they do here every day. To our elected officials, my colleagues in government who do a fantastic job. Councilor Flynn, thank you for your service. Mayor Walsh, thank you and your team for everything that you do. As a kid growing up in South Boston, I do remember seeing those hero squares and not knowing the story behind the names. And I just want to applaud you and your administration for the initiative to tell those stories, because it's important that they be told and that we remember them. And at the state level, we're doing what we can to support our veterans who are coming home. I'm proud to say every session we pass veterans legislation. Earlier this session, we passed a bill to make sure that colleges and universities have the resources they need to treat veterans who are coming back, going to school, and maybe suffering from post-traumatic stress. So, there's a strong partnership at your local level, at your state level, and I'm just proud of everybody in this room. It's an honor to be here with you today. To the members of the McDonough family, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. We're incredibly proud and grateful for the sacrifices you and your families have made. And as we enter the holiday season, I just want to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thank you for all that you do, from our Gold Star families to our veterans. We wouldn't be living in this community the way it is right now if it wasn't for your example. And it's an example for myself and all of us. So thank you so much. Thank you for having us here today. Congratulations and Merry Christmas.
So thank you, everyone, for coming here today. Especially thank you to Mayor Walsh for having such a program to honor our veterans. It's sometimes really hard to get the word out there, to let people know that whether a World War II veteran or you signed up yesterday or returned home from yesterday, that we're all veterans, and we need to be seen and heard. And I couldn't be prouder from being from South Boston of this community who has always supported the military and the veterans. It was the reason why I went in, because my whole family was veterans, so it was an honor to do it. And it's an honor to have you all here today. I'd like to say to the members of McDonough Post, this couldn't have been in the auxiliary. This post couldn't be here if it wasn't for you all who have been here for years, taking care of this place and bringing this place up. So my heartfelt thank you to all you members. I don't know where Richie is, but I think Richie is the one who's been here the longest in making sure that this place has stayed open and represented in this community, which we all love, obviously. That's Salty. To these two McDonough boys that I've known my whole life and just found out this morning that you two are Martin McDonough's nephews, I am so honored and thrilled that you two were able to come here today. So thank you so very much, and to your family. I just want to let you know the commissioner from the Department of Veteran Services for the City of Boston had this flag flown over the Constitution on November 13th. And November 13 recognizes the day that Martin's ship was torpedoed. So we got that flown over the Constitution on the post, which will go up on the wall next to Martin's picture. But I just want to read, because I just love this, what the Constitution wrote. It says, to all who shall see these presents, greetings, know that reposing special trust and confidence in the patriotism of the Martin F. McDonough Post, in all officers and crews of the USS Juneau. I do hereby certify that this flag was flown aboard the USS Constitution, Old Ironside, the oldest ship in the United States Navy, America's ship of state. Sorry. It was flown on the 13th day of November in the year of the Lord 2019, signed by the 75th Commander of the USS Constitution, Nathan Schnick, I believe is how it's said. So I am so honored to have this flag here for the McDonough Post. I'm so honored to have that plaque out front. It means the world to us members, and it means the world to this community of South Boston that we have this. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
And if we can have a moment, we're going to have a prayer with Kevin. Bagpipe. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you to Kevin Conroy, to our bagpiper. Kevin, you did a great job.
Nice.
So if you take your, later on, take your iPhone, just on the key bar here, and it'll give you more information on Martin Francis McDonough.
Awesome. Beautiful. All right.